Good morning, this is Oz Garcia from New York City. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm a wellness and well-being coach, lifestyle coach. I train as a nutritionist. I've been in this industry for 40 years. I'm a runner, long-distance runner, former marathoner, and author of 4 or 5 different books on health, nutrition, age management, and so on. Today I'm simply going to lay out a number of things that I do follow. I'm going to give you a hierarchy of the more important things that then you can expand on if you want to adapt better, in fact, much better to the times that we're now living through. We don't know, I certainly wouldn't even give it a guess, how long we'll be moving through this period, how long before the economic situation flips over, and who knows if it flips over to what it was before. Certainly what I do know is how you can adapt yourself better, immunologically better, emotionally better, how to get your thinking in order so that circumstances don't scare you. I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a good idea, to be afraid. To be afraid is natural. It's baked into us, into our neurological system, into our brains. We're very ancient animals. We're primates. We're hunter-gatherers, omnivorous hunter-gatherers. And although we've pretty much taken over the world, there was a time when we actually looked like a good appetizer or lunch to many other animals, especially big cats, going back, thousands and thousands of years. So the way that the nervous system is wired is to actually anticipate worst possible outcome in terms of what may be up ahead. Probably when we were hunter-gatherers and we were walking through, a large savanna and looking for something to eat ourselves. If you saw off in the distance the weeds moving and moving in a peculiar manner, maybe it didn't look like the wind was doing it, you would anticipate worst possible outcome. There's probably something behind those weeds that wants to eat me for a lunch. And so we would become anxious, would become preoccupied, and more often than not, get out of the way, whether there was something to fear or not, whether there was something there at all. So that very ancient, primitive way of looking at our survivability survives into the future with us now. Our bodies are not all that different than they were several thousand years ago. Our brains and our responses. What we do have now is a very advanced capacity to think, and that's a conversation for another time. So to be afraid and to anticipate worst possible outcome in terms of the future is to be expected. What I do know is having a number of practices set up that very likely would help you get through your days better, allow you to think optimistically, even when by all appearances things are not going to turn out that well. You can actually get a better adaptive grip over your body, your fear, your own anxiety. So what I always think about is in a hierarchy of what's the best thing of all. And I'm going to start by saying that sleep is probably one of the most important superpowers any one of us has. I'd say that's the bottom of the scaffolding, that you're getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep on a regular basis. Sleep hygiene, you can go online, you can look up anything at all from any number of teachers. Matt Whitaker, who's written a book on sleep, I think is terrific, would explain to actually set up your environment better so you get better quality sleep. There are different devices that you can use that'll help you sleep better, or actually give information about your sleep so that you can keep correcting on an ongoing basis. This is an Oura Ring, and the Oura Ring measures what's going on in my sleep, how much deep sleep I get, REM sleep, that's where you're doing a lot of dreaming, light sleep, my body temperature, my heart rate variability, so that in the morning when I get up, I can look at the app and I can actually find what my score is from the night before, and I can keep adjusting. I can keep kind of workshopping myself on a regular basis so my sleep improves tremendously. Next thing over the hierarchy, of course, is nutrition. Those of you that listen to me, have read my books, pretty much understand how it is that I put nutrition together. this is not the time to be abusive either with too much sugar, eating too much, certainly being extremely cautious of things like coffee, caffeine, which can amplify that anxiety and get the chemicals in your brain like norepinephrine, which makes you anxious, go up. I'd be very careful with the amount of alcohol consumed in addition. That can actually set you up for poor sleeping. It can set you up for waking up, with a hangover, and then, wherever your thinking goes in that regard. So I'm not going to preach to the choir here. I think that eating a well-rounded eating protocol right now. So some of you like keto, some of you like vegan. Just stick to your guns in terms of what you find works best for you overall. Make sure that you're doing intermittent fasting. There's enough literature on that, so that a couple of days a week you're going about 12 to 16 hours underfeeding yourself. At this point in time, actually being able to do intermittent fasting will serve you tremendously. I typically skip about 2-3 dinners a week. My last meal will be about 3 o'clock. After that, I'm going to have primarily water, broth, miso, vegetable broth, light juices, and so on, and get my intermittent fasting out of the way till the next morning when I get up and have a smoothie, light breakfast, and so on. So intermittent fasting now becomes really critical in terms of regulating what's going on with your body and with your brain, so that you can think better and think through what it is that you need to be paying attention to. The next thing over that, of course, is movement, exercise. There are enough courses that are online that you can do that are offered by a multitude of trainers, different fitness clubs, different yoga studios. And if not, figure out what's going to work best for you at home. I've got my bands. You can get bands on Amazon for practically nothing and work out a good exercise program you can do on a daily basis. Those of you that are not doing movement, that's going to cost. It's going to cost in terms of peace of mind, stability. It's going to affect everything below that. Some of you are going to wind up eating more. It may affect the quality of your sleep or not. So movement and exercise, I think, is critical. Mindfulness is the next thing on the list. For me, mindfulness is a number of things. Of course, the first thing that people go to is meditation, and I do that. There's everything from TM to using different devices that'll help you meditate better. I'll use the Muse device, M-U-S-E. I think Muse is terrific. In fact, I have my little Muse over here, for 10 minutes to an hour every day. It says it right there, Muse. This travels with me all over the world. It'll actually meditate you. So you can actually get greater control over your thinking on a daily basis or several times a week. Looks like a pair of really cool dark glasses that goes instead on your forehead. And this will actually support your mindfulness along with journaling every day. I actually have the 5-minute journal as an app. What I'll do is I'll journal 5 minutes in the morning. I'll journal 5 minutes at night before I go to bed. Some of you like journaling a lot more. Right now, what we do know is that to have a better neurological response to stress, to things that scare us, is to write. Write as much as you can. Being mindful also means reading as much as you can with the time that you may have on your hands. One of the best things I'd suggest is get into as much reading material as possible. I'm reading a lot more fiction. I typically read nonfiction, kind of like brushing your teeth with your opposite hand, so that you train your brain a little bit better and get your mind onto things that are relevant and helpful for you. Beyond that, I would say the next level is nature, to the extent you can get outdoors. I get outdoors every day no matter what. I do wear a mask, I wear my scarf, I'll go to Central Park, I'll go to Riverside, and I make sure that I do spend time outdoors several times a day. The effect of being in nature is documented, in a multitude of studies and books and so on. If you're indoors all day and you're not getting out, and you're not exposing yourself to some light, to looking at some nature, that's going to have a price in terms of how well you do and how well you feel. Next thing that I would probably put on that list would be overall supplementation. I think that there are a multitude of supplements that all of us could be using right around now. I could give you lists, of one thing after the other. I'd say some basic things, probably using ashwagandha quickly because it actually helps you control stress hormones. It will help you sleep better. There are many companies that carry both powder and tablets. You can go on Amazon, pick out the best ones that would appeal to you. Along with that, another nutrient that comes from Ayurvedic medicine is called Bacopa, B-A-C-O-P-A. Bacopa is also an adaptogenic nutrients, and nutrients that actually reduce the impact of stress hormones. So whether it's cortisol, norepinephrine, adrenaline, the ones that actually go up when you're being stressed out. And from there, I kind of jump over to a couple of others. If you're having difficulty sleeping, I would recommend L-serine, S-E-R-I-N-E. L-serine has actually been studied to protect you against dementia, things like Alzheimer's, but it actually allows you to go to sleep and sleep better. Some people have their own formulas that have 5-HTP. Some people like melatonin. You know, find the things that actually may help you if you want to sleep better, but certainly in the daytime. Bacopa, ashwagandha, they're simple to get, and you can incorporate that into your daily program. Uridine, another amino acid-like compound, U-R-I-D-I-N-E. You can get that online. I get it in a powder form. Uridine taken sublingually will make you grow a better brain, and it also makes you less anxious overall, reduces the tendency towards depression, actually lifts your mood a lot. You know, pretty quite remarkable product. So those are just a few things right there that I think supplementally would work for you. I want to put together one of these sessions that's all about nutrients, period, you know, nutraceuticals. There are nutraceuticals that I think would make a big difference in other aspects of your immune system. To that extent, I would recommend N-acetylcysteine, NAC, acetylglutathione. These are two sulfur-based amino acids that actually protect your body a great deal, protect your lungs remarkably well. Remember that the virus that goes around now wants to go target your lungs as quick as possible. So you want to be taking both NAC and acetylated glutathione. Recommend along with that, you know, a wide complement of probiotics. I use Primal Defense. I love Primal Defense. It's about 12, 13, 14 different strains of probiotics. That goes into my morning smoothie. I also use ketone powder to kind of knock me into ketosis, no matter whether I'm eating starches or not. It is known that being on a ketogenic diet tends to protect you better, based on a Yale study from 2019, against viruses attacking your body. So you actually build a better immune response overall by using what are called exogenous ketones. There are different companies that I like. One company that I like very much produces a product called KE1. You know, you can get this online, and it's called Ketonate. Typically what I do is I take one of these every day, increases ketones in your body. That also adds additional protection. Vitamin D, we now know, is really important. Looks like people that are suffering a lot more when they do get sick have lower levels of vitamin D. I'd recommend about 5,000 milligrams a day. I'm going to keep it there in terms of supplementation. Beyond that, there are hacks that I think are really terrific. To the extent that you can do extreme hot baths or saunas, if you have access to one, infrared saunas are terrific. If not, 2 or 3 nights a week, an extreme hot bath overall. These are hacks now. I just jumped into the hacks category, biohacks. Actually calm your body down, reduce inflammation. And what I do is I throw in about a quart, more or less, of Epsom salts, and I'll soak at about 120-degree water for about 10-15 minutes. You come out, you sleep better. Next day you feel a lot better, good for aches and pains. I can talk about hot baths and saunas for hours. Those of you that are into it or are looking to actually deal with inflammation in your body, ice baths, cryotherapy, if you can find a clinic, you know, cryotherapy destination where they're setting up people by appointment as destinations open up. I'd recommend the Fuel Stop. They're on Central Park South, off 7th Avenue. They've got, if you're in New York watching this, they've got great cryo machine. You can go by appointment as soon as, you know, this destination opens up. And it is a medical destination. Separate from that, there are different devices, like I showed you, the Muse. Other ones too that actually work extremely well in terms of making you work out better. You know, the Halo Sport device, which I think is terrific. Kind of looks like this. And I've talked about it before. You know, it's a very odd looking device. It's got like teeth on it. And you put this on your skull. And what you'll find is that you can actually think better after you do a 20-minute session with it. You will certainly work out better. It gives you a lot more power. And those are some of the things I wanted to bring out today. Overall, I think that if you follow the hierarchy in the way that I've just kind of laid it out, you'll find that you're adapting much better to the times that we're living in. Thank you so much.